Before I start this video, I want to make it very clear that I am not sweating profusely. I have just taken a shower. I'm going to start this with an allegory because I've taken philosophy before, and I like allegories. You know those guys that hold signs outside of businesses to advertise them and like kind of swing them around and stuff? Pretend that's you for a moment. Pretend like that job is the only way that you could succeed in this made up society that I'm talking about. And let's say your boss like comes over and starts yelling at you and all your other sign flipping buddies and says that you're doing a terrible job. And you and your sign flipping buddies explain to the boss that it's really hard to hold up the signs because there's wind. There's like this heavy wind that's keeping them from even lifting it up, let alone twirling it around. Then your boss explains to you that back when he used to twirl signs back in wind doesn't exist hereville, he didn't have a hard time at all. And it should be the same for you. I can't see the wind, but I can definitely see that you're doing a terrible job, so it must be your fault. That, my friends, is this invisible thing that we call privilege. I didn't want to make this video because I'm pretty sure a good majority of my following doesn't even believe privilege exists. Because you can't see the wind. Everyone has an experience that they simply cannot explain to you. But choosing to ignore the lack of privilege in their life or wind is cruel. And overall, I could say it makes you less human. I'm very excited to see all of the creators and stuff that I look up to all coming together for this common good. But I'm also seeing people taking George Floyd's murder as something that attacks their political beliefs, so they don't want to align with it. And that's something I want to talk about because I want to help those people. This is going to sound really off topic, but everyone's watching Avatar: The Last Airbender recently. And in my opinion, and most people's opinions, the best part is when all of the people come together to fight a common good, whether they're a firebender, earthbender, waterbender, or whatever. And when they come together to fight a common good, it's beautiful. The reason is because beauty is not found in uniformity, it's found in unity. When you collide diversity with unity, that is when it's most powerful. Which is why we don't just need African American liberals to help with the situation. We need everyone. There are people protesting currently, and the only people that are actually getting news coverage are those who are looting or breaking the law. The reason for that is because people who are looting and breaking the law are much more interesting than those who are not. So when you see something on the news, you should think, why is this popular? Oh, maybe because people don't care about normal protesters holding up signs. It's not an accident that Donald Trump pointed out the thugs who are robbing stores and pretends like those are all the protesters. Because if you genuinely believe that, then it throws the whole thing out the door, which is something I really don't want anybody to do. This situation is much more important than people taking advantage of George Floyd's murder in order to make money or get things for free. Regardless of the conspiracy that it was a cop that started the fires or whatever, even if you don't believe all of that, it's not important. These are very minuscule minorities that you are taking and expanding to equal the whole group so that you can completely throw them all out. We all do this because this is a lot easier than intaking all this information. To use one bad example to hurt the rest is something that we all do, and it's not good. Yes, using one bad cop to say the rest are terrible is also a problem. But there is a bigger problem at hand, and I'm okay with people having a conversation and giving their opinions on the situation or whatever. But when people say stuff like this isn't what MLK fought for, or saying all lives matter or blue lives matter, are things that genuinely are not relevant to the situation. It goes without saying that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that everyone else's lives don't. I see people posting Blue Lives Matter tweets and stuff on Twitter, and then people calling them stupid for posting it, and then people calling the people who called it stupid the real problem in America. So it's just a bunch of random pointing fingers. None of that is going to get anything done. For a second, you just have to think. Is it right or is it wrong? Not is it better or is it worse? George Floyd being killed was wrong, and a group of people being uncomfortable around police because they fear for their lives is wrong. Whether you believe it's reasonable or not, they shouldn't feel that way. And there's also people saying that if you don't like America, then you should leave, assuming that this country isn't ours just as much as it's theirs, and also assuming that it's very easy to just leave. Then you're ignoring what the actual situation's about. There's people who think that America can do better. When your parents get upset that you got a C on a test, they're not upset because they hate you. They're upset because they think you can do better. And you can point to other countries and say, oh, but they get D's and F's. Would your parents care? Would your parents care that other students get D's and F's on their tests? The point is, we're striving for an A. We're striving to do better. And even if you threw away every experience and you threw away every privilege and you threw away every sign that you're holding at your business or whatever, you can still respect the fact that we all want what's best for this country. So I ask white people, black people, liberals, conservatives to take a moment to realize that we are all necessary and that there is beauty in diversity and unity. So strive for unity and have conversations that matter.